everyone, I'm Mrs. Martinez. This is the lesson intro video for Unit 6, Lesson 2, India's Vedic Age. Here are the standards and objectives, which you can pause to read. The Indo-Aryans were a group of people who migrated from present-day Afghanistan into the Indian subcontinent. They brought livestock with them and mixed their beliefs and language with the local peoples. As you can see on the map, they moved from the plateau of Iran down into what is present-day India and moved further south. The Vedas. The Indo-Aryans composed the Vedas. There are 4 Vedas. Each is a collection of hundreds or thousands of sacred hymns. Priests memorized and sang or chanted the verses during ceremonies. Vedas called upon people to make offerings to their gods, such as barley, butter, or milk. For thousands of years, these Vedas were passed down by word of mouth. They were originally composed in Sanskrit, an ancestor of modern languages like Hindi and Urdu, and this remains the language of sacred texts. Eventually, the Vedas were written down rather than just being memorized. The growth of Vedic civilization. Over many hundreds of years, Vedic civilization slowly spread eastward across the humid and fertile Ganges plain. The Indo-Aryans carved farms and villages from the forests. Some villages grew into towns and cities. At first, communities were divided into clans or groups of people who believed that they shared a common ancestor. Each clan had a chief. Later, clans joined together to form republics. Leaders made decisions in an assembly, but over time, powerful leaders gained control and made themselves kings. By 500 BCE, more than a dozen kingdoms and republics covered the northern, western, and central India. As Vedic civilization grew, societies in the southern part of India also developed their own culture. People in this part spoke languages like Tamil, which had no similarities to Sanskrit. Over time, Sanskrit-speaking people eventually mingled with these groups, creating new customs based on a mixture of the different groups. The caste system. In ancient Indian society, a system of social classes based on birth developed. These evolved over many centuries and eventually became known as the caste system. They became closely linked to Indian notions of proper society. While a social grouping might not have begun this way, over time they became associated with Indian notions of purity. Today, caste is a fixed social class into which a person is born. Over many centuries in India and other parts of the Indian subcontinent, caste became a prominent part of people's lives. Once caste influenced specific rules of behavior, such as where people lived, how they earned a living, and whom they could eat with, and whom they could marry. Let's look at the chart labeled the caste system. On the left, you have the 4 caste names, as well as their occupation groups. These are the priests, the rulers and warriors, the landowners, bankers, and merchants, and lastly, the farmers, laborers, and servants. By the 1400s, people who were born into a caste could not leave it. Many Indians accepted caste as a part of life, and it became the basis for social structure. By 1900, the system limited freedoms for people. Some believed it was beneficial for the stability it brought, while others felt it was oppressive. Today, the law in India forbids the use of the caste system for discrimination.